Hello guys, welcome to Redditor's Revenge. Here we post amazing revenge stories daily. And if you want more content like this, please subscribe to the channel and stay tuned with us. Moving on to today's first story. So this happened about a week ago and I honestly am still fuming from this. I'm not sure if this belongs in this channel, but here it goes. First, a little backstory. I'm a mixed ethnicity individual. I've been confused about many races over the course of my 29 years on this planet, but I'm Caucasian and African American. Usually, it can be figured out, but the difference with me is my father is Caucasian, so therefore my hair is straight. I'm originally from Texas and am usually confused about being Mexican. But now I live in Massachusetts and I've never had an issue with anyone concerning my race until this day. Also, I am married to a Caucasian woman who had a child before we were married. His father is not in his life as much, and I took the responsibility because I love this woman and I love this little boy as if he were my own. He's 4 now and I've been in his life since he was 1. Anyways, on to the story. My wife needed a few things from the grocery store and she needed to run a few more errands. Usually she just goes and knocks things out herself because I'm sleeping. I work nights, but this particular day I happened to be awake and I offered to go for her. She works hard and does a lot, so I felt it was necessary to do something for her so she could just relax for the day. I took my son with me so she could rest up and just take it easy, and it gave me time to spend with my son for some bonding. We completed all of the errands, which went smoothly, and then headed to the grocery store to finish up our day. My son, a typical 4-year-old, was full of energy, running ahead of me, laughing and speaking to everyone he comes across, which I generally don't mind as long as he doesn't hit anyone and stays within eye view. As I'm making my way down an aisle looking for canned corn, my son jogs to the end of it when an older lady is entering at the other end. My son, being the sweet social butterfly he is, approached and exclaimed and excited, "Hi, me 4 and me Ryan." Bless his little heart. The lady looked down and says, "Well, hello there. You shouldn't be running around unattended. Let's go find your parents." I didn't think anything of her statement because I assumed she just hadn't seen me. "Ryan, come back here, bud, please." He excitedly runs back toward me and starts turning in circles because he's 4, lol. I'm still searching the shelves as the lady walks past me and stops behind me. Again, I think nothing of it because it's a grocery store and you have to share the aisles. I turn my basket around and start to walk toward the front cash registers when this lady blocks my path. I say excuse me and try to walk around her, and she moves her cart in front of me again. I honestly thought she was just getting confused and said excuse me once again and tried one more time to go around, and she just blocks my path. The following convo ensues. Me, "I'm sorry about that, we'll get out of your way." Lady.
"Oh, I don't think so. You're not going anywhere with that child."
Me, "You mean my son." Lady.
"That's not your child. He's white, and you're Mexican. You probably didn't even know his name until he said it to me."
Me, "Sure, whatever, lady, can you just move? My wife is at home and anxiously awaiting us." Lady.
"Stop your lies. You're not taking him anywhere, you pervert."
This whole time my son is standing close to me holding my leg because he was honestly getting scared. I was getting angry because I hadn't had much sleep and I have a short fuse anyway. Me, "As you can see, he's standing close to me because he trusts me and you're scaring him, so how about you buzz off." Lady.
"No, he's scared because of you. He just doesn't know how to express it yet."
She looks at my son and says,
"Come on now, sweetie, I'm here to rescue you. Come with me."
Thankfully, my son was able to communicate to her he wasn't going anywhere with her, but she was having none of it. She grabbed my son and began to run. It caught me off guard because I honestly could not fathom what was happening. My son starts screaming because he was so scared, and this lady is just like, "Don't worry, sweetie, he won't hurt you, I promise." Suddenly, I snap back into reality and I begin to chase after this crazy wench. While running through the store, I yell for people to stop her and that she's kidnapping my son, and thankfully a worker stops her before she makes the exit. Lady.
"Why are you stopping me? This Mexican here is trying to kidnap my grandson."
My son is bawling his eyes out and extending his arms out calling for me. This lady was relentless and would not let go until my son, even after he slaps her face multiple times. I laughed a little, not gonna lie. At this point, a manager shows up and asks what's going on. The lady spoke before me.
"This pervert is trying to kidnap my grandson and I was just trying to escape."
Me, "That's my son, you freaking psycho, now let him go." The manager didn't know what to believe. I don't blame him, he was caught in a weird situation. So I pulled out my phone and showed him pictures of me and my son that dated a year or so back as proof. This lady still would not give up and accused me of faking them. Like, how would you do that exactly? I'll never know, but whatever. Sadly, there were two other ladies there taking the psycho's side and said I was attempting to kidnap my own son, because there was no way we were family because of our different skin tones. One even called the police, which I was actually happy about because I knew they'd be able to review the security cameras. Even still, I called my wife to see if she could come to the store to get this situation cleared up quickly. As soon as I told her what was going on, she zoomed into the store. She got there about the same time as the police. The crazy ladies were giving their statement to the cops when my wife walked in. As soon as she walked in, my son goes, "Mama, help." My wife is a true mama bear and she immediately flew into a rage when she saw this lady holding my son. "Wife, let him go now."
Lady, sorry sweetie, I was just trying to protect him from this pervert over here.
Lady 2, yeah, we saw him trying to kidnap him, but this lady saved him.
The cop looks at the lady and is confused and says, "I thought this was your grandson." My wife, "I have no idea who that lady is," and she takes out her phone and shows the officer a picture of my mother-in-law.
Lady, okay, I'm sorry he's not my grandson, but I was only trying to protect him from this dirty pervert over here.
Lady 2, yeah, I witnessed the whole thing. He snatched that child and tried to run away with him, but this lady stopped it. Lady 3, yes, I saw it too. He needs to be arrested. And you should be thankful that this lady was here to save your son because you obviously just let him loose wherever.
My wife, "Who are you talking about again?" All three crazy ladies pointed at me. My wife, "Oh, you mean my husband?"
Lady 1, husband.
My wife, "Yeah, who do you think called me and got me here so fast?" I presented my ID to the officer and the manager, and my wife did the same. We also each showed pictures of us on our phones to prove we were really a family. The cop nodded in approval and handed us our phones back and jotted down a few notes. The three ladies for some reason still kept trying to say this was all fake and my wife was in on the kidnapping, and said we needed to be arrested. My wife lost it at this point and let off some colorful words I won't repeat here, but she definitely got her point across. Then the nail in the coffin came for the psycho trio. The officer turned to the manager and asks, "Officer, sir, do the cameras work here?" Manager, "Yes, we have them inside and out." Officer, "Okay, great, let's go review." The three ladies' faces went pale, like ghostly pale. The officer reviewed the outside camera as I pulled into the parking lot and saw me take my son out of my car, and then as I went up and down the aisles, and most importantly the instance the woman snatched up my son and began to run. Upon his return he asks, "Would you like to press charges?"
Lady 1, yes I would.
Officer, "Why would I be asking you that question? Shut your mouth and sit down." He turns to me and repeats the question. Me, "Absolutely," and Lady 1 was charged with attempted kidnapping, false imprisonment, providing a false police report, and child endangerment. The other two were also charged with providing a false police report as well. To make matters worse for Lady 1, my son bruises easily and she left some terrible spots on him from where she was grasping him, but he's fine. This added a charge of child abuse to her rap sheet. I have court later this year, but I'm not sure when because of COVID. The officer will be following up with me in a few weeks. Now, here is the end of our first story, and I hope you guys are enjoying my content. So before moving to the next story, you guys can share your thought in the comments section about all three racists Karens and the instant karma they got. And hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay tuned with us for more satisfying revenge stories.
Now, moving on to our final story. My stepmom is one of the nicest people you could ever meet. She is also one of the strongest. Before she became my stepmom, she was previously a single mom of 2 kids, and survived and beat breast cancer. A few years after she and my dad had been together, she had her foot crushed by a forklift while she was at work. She is now permanently handicapped and can no longer work paycheck jobs. She was really scared that my dad was going to leave her, because when she was diagnosed with breast cancer, her boyfriend had left her. My dad isn't that type of guy, and they both decided that they were the ones for each other. My stepmom just had surgery yesterday on her back and will have another one in 2 weeks. This is because when they originally operated on her foot, they fucked up the first surgery and ended up damaging her back as well. Despite all of this, my stepmom is the happiest and most loving person. I could go on for days about how amazing this woman is. She is loved in the community she lives in and almost everyone knows her name. I am about as close to her as my real mother. Now, cue entitled lady, who I will refer to as Jerk. My stepmom had just gone to the gym, and while she can't do traditional workouts, she finds that swimming is nice and a good way to lose weight while not hurting herself. She had been trying to lose weight and she has lost a lot in that week. She decided that she was going to cheat a little and get a milkshake from a local dive. My stepmom parks in the handicapped parking spot, as she can legally do, and has her order taken from her car. So far, today had been a really good day, so she was even more upbeat and cheerful than usual. Sadly, Jerk wanted to ruin that. My stepmom noticed a lady standing behind some bushes, almost like she was trying to hide from my stepmom. My stepmom has her window down and she is expecting her milkshake to be ready soon, and here's something chilling. It went something like this. Jerk, yes, I would like to report a regular person parked in the handicapped parking spot. The license plate is XYZ. My stepmom is shocked. She takes a picture of the woman and then goes outside to confront her. The lady sees her approaching her. My stepmom uses her cane to help her walk and bolts it. Like, seriously, you just ran away from a lady with a cane. Well, my stepmom was like, whatever, she was registered as disabled and the DMV shouldn't have any trouble with the false accusation. Sadly, she was wrong. As she got home, after enjoying her milkshake, she was called by multiple different agencies. I don't know all of the details about this, but I do know that my stepmom was at risk of losing her car and disability checks which she needs since she can't work, and that they are going to open an investigation into her possible disability fraud. So, a normal person would be infuriated by this and would witch hunt the lady. My stepmom wasn't angry at all, as she just doesn't have it in her. She instead starts to get evidence that she is disabled by calling her doctors and insurance to acquire physical proof. She was playing the defensive. I know, I am not great at getting to the point, but trust me when I say it is worth it. When my dad gets home from his job, he works in a prison and sees my stepmom in tears, and with stacks of papers with her medical history on them, he becomes concerned. My dad is a very rational and often hard to upset man. After hearing this story, however, he loses it. He was probably angry for about 5 minutes, until he started asking my stepmom for more details. This is where the revenge starts, even if sort of unintentional. Neither my dad nor stepmom knew anything about this lady, but my stepmom did have photos of her from earlier. My dad takes these photos and writes a huge post on Facebook describing what happened in my stepmom's past, and how she did not deserve to have to go through this as well. Now, I said earlier that my stepmom was very popular in the community. This is because she organized charity events, would babysit for free, make blankets for homeless people and people in need, and was always there for a friend. This popularity is what made this a revenge story. People banded together and told them who this lady was. Some even posted her address, which my dad deleted from the post because that is just wrong, and was calling her out. Both of my parents thought this was it, and that they had gotten even in a way that took the moral high ground. But oh, this was just the beginning. 2 days later, while my dad is at work in his office, the sheriff from their community comes to see him. This was weird since my dad works out of town and is in the middle of nowhere. It's a prison, there isn't even an Applebee's out near there. It turns out that the sheriff was Jerk's husband. So he is a sheriff, you would expect him to be very respectful and appropriate. Ha, nope, he is as bad as his wife. He starts yelling at my dad and cursing him out, claiming it was my dad's fault that he and his family were getting death threats. My dad never intended for the family to get death threats, and he even tried to lean people away from this. The jerk has had a very difficult 2 days. She lost her job and even got excommunicated from her church. People had also been protesting outside of their houses and berating the two. Some people even went as far as to throw and break things. They even had their car stolen and vandalized. It had graffiti on it about how they weren't handicapped enough. Then the sheriff grabs my dad's shirt and claims he is going to press charges and have him thrown in this prison for something ridiculous like attempted assault. It should also be known that at the time, my dad worked at a female prison. My dad just put on a shit-eating grin and said, "I look forward to seeing your wife in here soon." The sheriff flips his shit and punches my dad. My dad said he would take 1,000 punches from that sheriff if he could just see the look on his face again. Later, my dad presses charges against the sheriff for assault and harassment. Even before the trial happened, the sheriff retired early without any benefits. My dad later decides to drop charges though, because through balancing work, court, and my stepmom's upcoming surgery he just can't do it all. He was happy the asshole paid the price though, because now neither had a job and both were practically ostracized, all because my stepmom wanted a milkshake. Later, long after these events, they learned that the reason that my stepmom had gotten all of those calls after the lady reported her was because she used her husband to pull some strings. She went so out of her way to hurt my stepmom. Well, it doesn't matter now because when my dad checked their Facebook page, they had gotten a divorce. The husband had not posted anything in over 6 months, and the jerk was living from paycheck to paycheck while selling some products you would see on Dr. Oz. The jerk also made a post formally addressing what she did to my stepmom, and she only did it because she looked too happy to be disabled. Yeah, because disabled people can't be happy. In the end, my stepmom and dad lived happily ever after. I mean, at least compared to those two nutjobs. Now, here is the end of our today's video, and I hope you enjoyed these revenge stories. Guys, I want to hear your thought about this story in the comments section, and let me know if you were in OP's dad's situation. Would you go ahead with charges or not? And, before you leave, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to remain updated on more fantastic stories.